guys, I am Jerome from the Bonsai Supply and welcome to today's video. Now if this is your first time coming across this channel and you like bonsai, you are in luck because that's what this channel is all about. Now if you're a subscriber already, welcome back and thank you so much for your support. Alright, so in today's video we are going to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics, which is root over statue. Now, of course, we're going to be talking about the root over statue that I have here with me today. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about the creation of root over statue. So I'm going to share with you on how exactly this was created, why I chose this pot, this statue, and this tree combination. And I'm also going to share with you some tips on what makes a really good root over statue. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so this composition was created for our book, Freestyle Bonsai. Now on page 111, you can see exactly how this was created step by step. And if you have your book handy, you can follow along, of course. Now, we have this section here in the book where we chose 10 of the most popular styles. And of course, this is one of my most popular styles, so I had to use it, of course. And we show on how these styles are created, as you can see here, with pictures and text underneath, super easy to follow along. And so that's what this composition was created for. So when you create a root over statue, it is very important that you choose a good statue. What I mean by that is that the material that the statue is made out of is probably the most important. So you want to choose something that can age. It sounds a little funny when I say that, but you want to choose something that can add age to the statue. So, for instance, clay ages, it gets a patina over time, which helps to create or tell the story a little bit more. Or if you use a statue that's made out of terracotta or concrete, or just something that can age, like I said. If you choose a material like those resin statues or plastic statues that are made for fish tanks, they don't look believable when you put it together because the resin or the plastic that they use, it doesn't age over time and it always has that plasticky look to it. Now this statue is made out of clay. The glaze on it it already started after just a short period of time of being exposed to the sun. It's starting to age and starts to create that patina. And then if we fast forward maybe another 5 years, when a tree ages, the statue ages, and the pot itself gets more of a patina as well, it's going to look absolutely incredible. So choosing the material that the statue is made out of is probably one of the most important things because as it ages, it will look better over time. So the most important thing that we have to keep in mind when we create a root over statue is the story behind it, right? What does the story tell of this composition? And what I like about this composition so much is that whoever looks at it tells me a different story. So they have something else that they see, but it is sort of believable, right? Now, when I look at this, or when you look at this, you might say, well, the guy is kicking the tree. I'm saying maybe he is practicing his aim on where he wants to kick, as you can see where the foot lands. Or maybe this guy is fighting the tree, right? Maybe the tree is attacking him, right? So there's so many different ways of what you see when you look at it, and that's what I think makes this such a great composition. So when I created this, I had to make sure that the scale of it, was very important to me, because since the statue is fairly small, you also want the tree, you don't want it to be overpowering the statue. Both of them have to make sense together because it's kind of like, it's a puzzle, right? They have to fit together. And so I think in this composition, I portrayed it really well. That the tree is, a certain height, the statue is a certain height, and the pot, and then they all fit together really, really well. And this was sort of a happy accident of how this came to be. And so I'm going to tell you exactly how this came to be, where the pieces came from. I think that's very important. So let's start at the very bottom with the pot. I found the pot at a flea market in Beijing, China, about 10 years ago. The container itself is actually used, or that's what they explained it to me, that it is used for incense. So they filled the pot with sand, it didn't have any holes at the bottom, and then they used the incense and burn it inside this pot. And I guess all the ashes that fall will be collected by the pot. And so as soon as I saw it, because it's so unusual, I was like, man, this will make such a great bonsai pot. I've never seen anything before, like anything close to this. So this would be something very special. So I picked it up, had it on my shelf for over 10 years, and it was collecting dust. Similar story with the statue. I got the statue at another flea market, this time in Thailand, over 20 years ago. I found the statue, I loved it, I took it home, had it on the shelf, it was collecting dust, and I kind of forgot about both of them. They were just kind of there as decoration somewhere. Now the tree, however, the tree is actually Mari, my wife, who chose this tree for this composition. So I had the pot and I had the statue, she chose the tree, and I didn't see the vision for it at first because I didn't know how they would fit together, but after spending some time together, we were able to piece them together like a puzzle, and it looks fantastic today. Now it is important to note that this is not the original pot from the book, because the pot was hidden. I forgot that I had it when I created this, and I chose a red oval pot to match the berries of the tree, and I really liked the composition. But when I came across this pot, I was like, wow, this is the pot for the tree. I drilled some holes, and then I just slip potted it from the old pot into this new pot. And this just happened very recently. Now let me tell you how this composition was put together. So first we took the pot, which was the oval pot that has that like patina. It looks very rough when you look at the pot, and that's what I wanted, of course. So I set it up with wire and, of course, screens at the bottom. And then next up, which is the most challenging piece, which is to fit the tree and the statue together. And a lot of times you see the trees being placed on top of the statue, and they're being married together like that. And there was definitely a thought at first hand, there was definitely a thought when I first looked at it, and I really trial fitted the tree onto the statue because that's what you obviously have to do. You have to try to fit the pieces together. As I was trying to work the two pieces together, I used a rake to rake out all of the black nursery soil that this tree came in because I wanted the roots to be as loose as possible so that I can fit it at the angle that I want to. So once I decided on this as the composition of how I want them to be together, I added the tree on top of the statue at the base here that's kind of buried. And it's buried because I want it to be attached more, and that's best done underneath the soil. I will expose it more over time, of course. So once I fitted them together, I used some aluminum bonsai wire to really put them together because I want the tree to be attached to the statue as firmly as possible. Because as you can see, only the top wiggles because it's very top heavy, but the bottom does not because it's attaching to the statue. So now once I tied the tree to the statue really firmly, I potted the whole composition fairly low inside the pot, and I filled in the entire pot with our all-purpose bonsai soil mixture. Now for this composition, I used our Shohin mixture, or micro bonsai soil mixture. It has exactly the same ingredients as our all-purpose bonsai soil mixture. The only difference is the size of the aggregates. So our all-purpose soil mixture is made out of pumice lava, calcined clay, and pine bark, and the aggregate size is about 1/4 inch, which is perfect for trees that are potted into bonsai pots that are like 8 inches and larger. And since this one is 8 inches and smaller, I use our all-purpose Shohin mixture. So I used it, I filled in the pot, and then I just put it out into full sun, watered it every day, of course, and I just let this canopy overgrow. That is the first job when you create a root over statue. Let this canopy overgrow, let it get very heavy. That does a number of things. When the top grows, the bottom grows, meaning the roots grow. When you let the top overgrow, the roots grow. And that's the first thing that you want, because you want the tree to attach to the statue as quickly as possible. And that's the best way of doing that, by letting this overgrow. Also, by letting this canopy overgrow, you see how heavy it is, and every time the wind blows, the whole composition up here used to wiggle, and now it wiggles a lot less because the trunk had to thicken up to support all of this. So you do hit two birds with one stone. Let it overgrow, the roots grow, but also the trunk starts to thicken up. And now in about a month or so, June, July, I'm gonna go in and do the first cleaning up of the foliage. I will separate it, get in here with my scissors, and just cut out some of the foliage that's placed in here, and just loosen up the canopy a little bit more, let some light in here, but then I will continue to let it overgrow until next year when I repot this composition, because it's been inside this container for about 2 years now, and so next year it will be close to 3 years, and that's a good time to repot it and see what the roots does, how they have, how they have attached to the statue. If they have not attached to the statue at all, I will of course bury it a little bit more. If they have attached, I will cut off the wire and I will expose some more of the pedestal down here, because the statue is standing on top of a piece of clay that looks like the ground, which was of course perfect to attach the tree to the statue and then tie this whole composition into the pot, because you want them both to be firm together. So now, what is the next step for this tree? What does the future hold for this composition? So the idea is, I don't want to change the pot anymore. I'm really happy with the composition. Now I just have to work on thickening up the tree a little bit more, and I can do that by letting the canopy overgrow a little bit more. And then once I have reached the desired thickness of the trunk, what I will do is I will actually then start to reduce this foliage here and just make a smaller canopy and make it more in scale with the whole composition, because obviously right now this canopy is way too heavy for this composition. So hopefully this video got your creative juices flowing, and I hope that you guys want to create something like this as well, because it is a lot of fun, let me tell you. Now if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below in the comment section. Also, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, so that you're always up to date and you get notified when a new video comes out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.